Hello and welcome to this edition of SFG Top Performance Feed and Grain podcast. I'm Mark White, grain merchandiser for Smith Fertilizer and Grain. And with me this morning is Kent Watson and Scott Goetz from the feed department. We'll start out with a little bit of grain news. Planting progress is moving along probably at a record pace in Iowa, and in particular our area. The last 10 days have kind of been nonstop, maybe just a little bit of rain one day, but most guys are on the downhill side. Several have finished planting corn and beans both. And to get that done in April is quite an accomplishment. You know, if you turn the clock back 6-8 weeks, I think everybody, especially in our line of work, was thinking, how are we going to get this all done? We had a lot of fertilizer to go on and just a lot of things that hadn't happened through the winter because of the amount of snow and cold weather. Well, suddenly we're sitting here 1st of May and we're not totally caught up, but boy, we're awful good shape. So Mother Nature's been kind to us. Now if she'll just throw some rain our way in a timely fashion for the next 3 or 4 months, we're on our way to a good crop, I hope. Old crop continues to be worth pretty good money, corn and beans. We're still working off of a narrowed amount of grain that's available, so the processors are paying up. That's keeping that old crop corn in the 650 range, beans 15 plus. Very good prices. Basis levels are keeping strong. That tells you that this shortness of available crop is real because they're having to bid up to get it. That combined with the fact that the farmers that still own this grain evidently can afford to own it, and that makes a difference too. Bean processors are making about $1.30 a bushel right now. That's a very high margin for that business. So that gives them a lot of latitude in going after those beans. Ethanol producers are making money. Fuel prices have come up, oil's higher priced. That's adding value to the ethanol, which in turn creates a better demand. We're back up grinding in the high 90 million bushel a week. And so we're getting closer to normal, which was probably around 105 million bushel a week. So that's all good. Looking down the road a little bit, as far as the old crop, corn and beans are both going to have a battle with the inverse. We kind of fought that when we went from May to July on the futures, and now the same thing, even worse, is taking shape as we go to the latter months of the summer. With corn, it'll be going to the SEP. Right now, there's about an 80-cent inverse between July and the SEP contract. On the bean side, it's about 57 to 60 cents when we go from July to August. Basis levels will either that board has got to come together, which may or may not happen, but if it does not happen, the basis levels will have to kind of smooth it out, the transition there, and you'll see end users bidding more to get those products. New crop prices, corn is in the low 5 range, 5 and a nickel to 5.15 locally. Beans 12.50 plus, so both are still profitable levels. Maybe not quite as high as we were a week, 10 days ago, but still a lot of interest in those prices, and probably a good idea to think about locking some in so you've got some decent money coming at harvest, especially if you need to get rid of fall bushels if you don't have room for all of it and you need some money. The dry Brazilian weather is playing a role primarily on the corn side. Their Safrinha second crop corn is at a stage where it demands water, kind of like we are in July in this country. They've been missing most of it. So the next couple of weeks will be critical for that crop. And in turn, that will kind of set the stage for what we might see come fall in this country on prices. As always, you can read comments from 3 or 4 different sources right now, and you'll get 3 or 4 different opinions on where prices are going and whatnot. So you kind of got to put that all aside and make up your own mind and hit somewhere in the middle. One thing that's going to take effect, and probably by the time you hear this, it'll be in effect May 3rd. The Board of Trade will have new limits on the grain. Twice a year, they go through a system that helps them establish what the limits should be. Presently on corn, it's 25 cents the first day limit up, and then it goes to 40. Starting May 3rd, it'll be 40 cents that first day, and then 60 cents the second day. So if you got locked up or down for 2 days in a row, that could be $1. And the funds are record long corn. They're over 500,000 contracts, and prior to this, I think it was about 400,000 was the record. So that they're very long, and if this thing would happen to start liquidating, may not be tough to get that $1 taken off in 2 days. Let's hope not. On the bean side, currently it's 70 cents the first day, and then $1 the second day, or $1.05. It's starting May 3rd, it'll be $1 the first day limit move, and then $1.50. So in 2 days, you could have a $2.50 swing in the bean market. That kind of puts some more volatility into something that's already volatile, and we want to keep that in the back of our minds. You always remember the bad stuff more than the good stuff when it comes to grain marketing, and so you kind of think, well, when's the last time we had 2 days limit up? And it's happened, but not as often as 2 days limit down. So just another thing to be cautious about. Otherwise, we'll continue on the planting side, and they're expecting the national corn number to be in the 40-some% done come Sunday. Like we was talking, Iowa's probably going to be in the upper 80s. It could easily be upper 80% done on corn, and there's a lot of beans going to the ground. So that kind of wraps up the grain side. Let's shift gears a little bit and go to Kent Watson, and he'll bring us up to date on some feed programs going on. Kent?
Thanks, Mark. I'm primarily going to talk today about, we've got pretty much all our spring, the planting, but the calving's about done. We're getting turned out now, and we've put all this emphasis and attention to, proper mineral nutrition and getting our cattle in good shape. But sometimes we neglect probably the most important nutrient of all, and that's water and water quality. It's sort of always sort of in the back of the mind, but it's not really addressed too often. And no physiology activity takes place in the animal without proper or adequate amounts of water. So, we'll go out and soil test to make sure our soil is got the adequate nutrients. We'll go do forage tests, but very, very seldom would we ever do water tests. And you can go through your local vet and get send off a water test to Iowa State and to their diagnostic lab, and they'll do a sample and do the results on solids and nitrates, sulfates, and chloroform bacteria. And last time I checked, that test is around $50. Well, if the water is not palatable enough, that cow is not going to, just like us. I mean, if it's not good tasting water, she's not going to drink maybe as much as she needs. That conversely has the effect on, like when you think of milk production, 98% of the makeup of milk is water. So if she's not drinking as much water as she needs, that has an adverse effect on how much milk she's producing as well. Also, a lot of this water may have a large volume of dissolved minerals in it that could have a antagonistic approach to your minerals that you're feeding. It could bind up those trace minerals, and you could have some secondary deficiencies take place of it. So, something as simple as just getting it tested, sort of get a groundwork of where you might be. All of our reproduction, health, growth, and are highly influenced by mineral intake, and none of that takes place unless we have good quality water. So it's something to consider. I mean, I know it's kind of marginalized, but it is the most important nutrient. Nothing takes place without having water present or in adequate amounts in good quality. So it's just something that I think we should, be very serious in addressing and take advantage of these tests. So that's all I have, Mark.
Thank you, Kent. Let's move up to the Milo area and talk to Scott for a little bit and see what's going on up there.
Hey, Mark. First, I thought I'd give you a little update on grain facility project we got going out here. They finished up demolition on Wednesday. They've got the concrete poured for the anchors for the new leg and the pad. The new drags are supposed to ship mid-May. So they should be able to start going back together when they get here. The roofers are supposed to be here around the end of May to get the roof replaced. So hopefully with this schedule, we should have everything up and going well before fall. Looks like it'll be a lot easier and quicker, so that should make for way faster dump times. So we got a little shower here in Milo the other day. It's not enough, but it's gonna help a little. We could still use some more. Warm sunshine is sure welcome though. I see a lot of cows are out to pasture now. We need to be keeping an eye on them. With the cool, dry weather that we've been having, the grass has been really slow to develop this year. In these situations, we run the risk of our cows losing condition. They're coming out of gestation and they're into lactation now. It's the time of their highest nutritional needs. With limited grass volume, our cows can use more protein and energy than what they're taking in. So if that happens, they're going to start losing body condition. Most producers are getting pretty close to breeding time now, so we really don't want to go backwards with them at this time. Research shows that a body condition score of 6 will result in 90% pregnancy in the first 40 days. In comparison, a BCS of 5 will have 65% bred in the first 40 days. At times like this, it is important to keep an eye on the grass. If you think they need some help, you might have to get hay out to them. You can also give them a protein tub, or you can feed a supplement for extra protein and energy. This needs to continue until the grass is lush and plentiful. Hopefully that'll be soon. We need to get some rainfall to fill this little short gap that we're in right now. So if you want to contact us, we can help you with filling this gap, and next spring during calving season, you'll be happy that you did that. That's all I got for you, Mark.
Well, thanks, Scott. Yeah, we're looking forward to the grain facilities being updated there at Milo. I think that'll be a fantastic thing for that area come fall, where we'll be able to dump trucks quicker and get them back to the field. That's always our goal at Smith Fertilizer, is to turn those trucks, not only our own, but all of our customers, and make harvest go as smooth as possible. Well, this will wrap up this edition of the podcast. I want to remind everybody, you can go to sfgiowa.com on the internet and take a look at our blogs. We put up weekly blogs for the grain, feed, and agronomy departments. We also post our daily grain markets there for the 7 locations that have grain markets. So always tune in and take a look at what's going on. Thank you for joining us.